Just going to fire off the invite to Bobby. Hopefully on this screen. And then we will get off and running. Nice slate tonight. And we'll fire off a text reminder as well. Okay. I'm just doing a little bit of whatchamacallit, housekeeping on the side here. And then I will be with you guys in a sec. Housekeeping being actually uploading to the website. There's Bobby. Hold on a second. One sec, Bobby. I'll be right with you. Okay. There he is.
What's up?
What's going on, Bobby?
What's going on, man? So we got a little weather to worry about, huh?
What do we got?
So basically, you've got. Let me just grab my weather page real quick. Yeah, it's unfortunate because it's some of the games we want. We also have weird hitter like the Glasnow Lynn game. You've got a extreme hitters umpire, which is interesting.
Oh, I was asking about that. Oh, that's good info.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the extreme pitchers umpire, definitely the most in baseball right now, maybe the most ever famous for being a pitchers umpire.
Bill Miller?
Bill Miller, yeah.
Even I know. That's how famous he is. Even I know that.
Even you got that one. That's crazy. Yeah, but so that's going on there. Guys, what's up to everybody out there? Drop in any questions anytime you want, any thoughts. And please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, so with that said, we can sort of go through, I think, what our plays are. I think that you're still playing like the lower end pitching. While I expect, I think if you're playing like a ton of lineups, you want to mix in Keller, Marco Gonzalez. Obviously, Adam Wainwright is going to be popular anyway. Dylan Bundy, I have a tiny bit of. Kenta Maeda, who I barely have any of because I just don't think he's going to throw more than 75 pitches. I just like there's just nothing to really love. So he's probably not the ideal tournament play, but I have 5% of him actually.
Okay.
But Glasnow and Lynn, it's interesting that the hitter's umpire, and this may be I can't say it's right or wrong. The extreme hitter's umpire does sort of make me not want to play both the pitchers in my DraftKings lineups. I feel like it could be, just even if it could get to one of them. That's sort of the way I'm looking at it. But I do have a little bit of Glasnow and Lynn, but I mostly I'm using a lot more Wainwright than I'd like to, and it's also really good hitting weather in St. Louis, so I don't feel great about it. I do love my stacks are pretty much. I'll get to my stacks in a minute, but my pitchers are not spread out. It's still mostly Glasnow with some Lynn, and on FanDuel it's just Glasnow and Lynn. Even though, I mean, look, you can make a good argument. I'm just not playing enough in that lineups to where I'm going to get to Wainwright over there. But I do feel a little weird about it, to be honest. I'm playing less lineups today and a little higher buy-ins than usual. Playing the 1,500 over on FanDuel, 1,650. I mean, 888s and all that stuff. Like it's a little nerve-wracking. And then we've got the weather issues in. Let me just drop it down real quick.
Yeah, let's take a look and see where the weather issues are. So the weather issues looks like
New York and Washington are the worst, and then Cleveland.
All right, you say so.
I mean, look, it's just what I'm seeing. I think that maybe what you're looking at is it looks like it may be more of a delay, but that would be bad for Peterson, who originally was on my pitching list, but because of the weather concerns and I didn't love him anyway, I'm okay with sort of skipping him. I may revisit that if we get a better weather update in about a half hour.
Yeah, it does say shower and thunderstorm.
Let me close my window real quick because
rain starting in 115 minutes. It says.
Yeah, so that's a little worrisome. What's up, K9 Bronco? Big Ticket has a question. Chicago has extreme hitters umpire. I'm seeing Field and Colbert as the home plate ump, who looks like a bump to pitchers. Let me grab my umpire sheet because I got that over here. You're talking about, so you say, so you mean, yeah, so I've got the umpire, oops, my bad, I hit the wrong button here. Yeah, I've got the umpire as, unless it may have changed, sometimes that happens. Let me see real quick, sorry about this, guys. Like, Colbert is an extreme hitters umpire, by the way. I don't know where that came from. I've got him written as like the 6th best hitters umpire in baseball. So maybe you're seeing something I'm not seeing there, Big Ticket. I have Colbert as an extreme hitters umpire. Actually, I have him about 8th in baseball. I don't. Big Ticket. Let me know where you're getting that from. Where you're getting the bump to the pitchers. Why would it be beneficial with Colbert? Because I don't have him. I have him rated very much as a hitter friendly umpire. Still, there's so much better pitchers than everybody else in the slate. We can go ahead and play them. Like, I mean, that's probably what we should be doing anyway, even with the hitters umpire.
Well, I think what we're supposed to be doing first is really try to figure out what we want to do about the Pittsburgh, Washington, and the Chicago Mets, because like you were saying, those are two, I don't want to say key pieces to, and that you can't live without them, but those are two, not so much the Mets. I mean, you don't need Pierce and whatever. I can avoid that game if I feel like it. Mm-hmm. But this Pittsburgh value is interesting. Mm-hmm. And if I'm going to be playing that, I mean, I really would want to get a better sense of what's going on with that weather over there.
Yeah, that's what I'd like. So we're probably going to have to wait a little bit on that, at least from my perspective. I know we had the whole Roth conversation last week. Sorry, it is really hot here in LA, by the way.
Alexa is not needed to tell you that.
Yeah, I just
you know where else it's really hot?
Where's that?
Colorado.
Oh, it is really hot in Colorado. So we do have Bill Miller as the extreme pitchers umpire. If you want to try and fade the game, I don't think I have any lineups that don't have at least a couple players from that game.
You said Bill Miller? You mean somebody else?
What did I? No, in that game he is the umpire.
Oh, Bill Miller's in the Colorado. Oh, I got you.
Yeah. So everything's backwards today because the best hitters umpires, and by the way, we do have a great hitters umpire in New York also, Alfonso Marquez. So it's tough. You can't use it as gospel. It's not, set in stone. The guys.
Let's talk about something else that we talked about earlier, which maybe you have a little more clarity on. And now you mentioned this as we were leading in, but I was in the middle of doing something. What is your take on Maeda?
I think 70, 75 pitches.
Yeah, it's not going to be enough, I don't think.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, like, you're hoping for him to somehow squeak his way into 5 innings and maybe 18 to 20 fantasy points. Maybe he gets the win. I just don't think that. I think there's just other guys you'd rather take shots on at that point. K9 Bronco asks, what's our favorite FanDuel pitcher? Favorite FanDuel pitcher is still going to be Glasnow for me by a pretty good margin.
For me, it's between, depending on the rest of the build, it's between Glasnow and Wainwright.
Yeah, I get that for sure. Let's see, we got a little baseball update here. The Dodgers lineup. Lux is batting second. Beatty's batting fifth. Okay. McKinstry got in there. Okay, interesting.
And I also would say that if you want, I actually feel as though if you're going to play Wainwright on FanDuel, that you could do worse. You could play Alex Wood if you want.
Yeah, I mean, again, Arizona is not a good hitting team, but they don't strike out very often against lefties, and that's the only issue I have with that. So it worries me a little bit for the upside for Wood. I think you're better off. I know he's been really bad, but we know that Dylan Bundy has upside. There's 2 guys who I think are interesting that we could consider, and that's Dylan Bundy, and I think we can consider Um, Even though, again, I like the Royals side of it, you should consider Matt Boyd. Bundy and Boyd are two guys who we know they have upside, aren't going to be high owned, and they're cheap enough. They're a way to get different at pitcher. That's the one other thing you could do. I just am not finding myself with that much of Wood. I'm sorry, of Bundy and of our other guy. I can't think of his name, Matt Boyd. The fact that I can't think of his name is probably a sign we shouldn't be playing him. Maybe I should take that as an omen. And we have to remember something, Sheets. Every time I say a play that you really get into, something good seems to happen. Like the Grandal thing on Friday was for you or whatever.
That was pretty funny.
That was right away. He came through. But I need to mark that down and really play these guys heavier than just sort of mentioning them. I do think that as far as stacks go, if you're not stacking cores, I mean, San Diego is the best stack. But the problem is you have a guy who's been like really good on the mound. There's actually both pitchers are good. San Diego's got a great bullpen. Colorado does not. There's reasons to justify it. It's just the weather, hitting weather is really, really hard to ignore when it's that hot.
Okay, so I have a team that I want to consider stacking, and there's a player on that. Let's see if anybody can guess it. There's a player on that team that probably could be a decent part of that stack, who you seem to have or used to have particular knowledge of his proclivity to do well on certain nights. So can you give me any Trey Mancini whispering tonight?
Interesting. I didn't come across any Mancini. I do like some of the Oriole bats, although I'm not really getting to as many. There's 13 games. There's a lot of guys to target, and I don't tend to like to play Baltimore outside of Baltimore as much.
Okay.
Just because it's such a great hitter's park. It's just but he's completely fine. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with Mancini at all. Both sides of that Cleveland Baltimore game, again, it's a little bit of weather issues, but I'm not finding myself getting to much of it.
I mean, in fairness, I use the Mancini example just because it fit my narrative of your previous love of him, or your previous knowledge of him into the sentence. I actually don't like him all that much considering his price tonight. I like the Baltimore guys, but just it wouldn't have been as good of a lead-in if I didn't have the Mancini to kind of back into.
Yeah.
This Kansas City thing is going to be pretty popular now.
I think it. Yeah. I think they're going to definitely have some decent ownership. The White Sox updated their lineup. So teams are updating their lineups left and right here. I got to catch up on that stuff. But that McKinstry does, and by the way, both of those sides of it really are interesting now. Beatty and McKinstry, I think you can play pretty comfortably today.
Just so you guys know, I think I have something interesting for you guys to watch. I did a video on how I use these spreadsheets specifically for baseball with the and I talk about how I come up with all my stuff, and I actually used tonight's slate as an example of how to build from it. So I couldn't post it today because it actually has stuff that I'm doing tonight, in advance. But after tonight, I'll post it, and it would be kind of cool if the stuff that I put in as a result of that actually won. So I can't tell you exactly what that is. As a matter of fact, I might not even be on it anymore. But it should become as no surprise who I like. But one game, let's just say one game might rain out. So we'll worry about that later. Again.
Yeah. I'm a little worried about this. I'd love to get a weather update before we talk too much more. Again, favorite hitting stacks I like mini stacks from Pittsburgh, New York, Toronto. My favorite overall stacks are the Dodgers, Cardinals, and Padres.
I wanted to see about what keeps showing up for me on FanDuel, kind of like even more than DraftKings, is the Milwaukee side of the hitting.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the ownership I have on these San Diego guys is pretty severe.
It's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be. It's going to be tough to, it's tough to fade it. You know what I mean? But if you get away with it, I mean, you're really in good shape somehow. What about Toronto, man? Toronto is getting no ownership for me, especially on FanDuel.
It's hard to get to him.
Yeah, I guess that's it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
What you got to do is you got to play like Tellez. You got to play no Guerrero or freaking Bichette.
That's right. No, it's true. It's tough. I hear you there. I'm sorry. I think the Dodgers on FanDuel have just jumped up a ton for me, just because
I like that. The guys I like over there are who'd you say? Oh, you have Beatty's in the. I didn't even have Beatty in the
he's
lineup.
batting fifth, and McKinstry's in there batting eighth. But I do like McKinstry in general.
So who's out? Are Lux and Pollock out? One of them?
No, Lux's and Pollock are both in.
Okay. What about Smith? Will Smith?
I actually don't have the whole lineup in front of me, so let me grab it real quick.
Just let me know Will Smith is playing.
Let's see. Yeah, it's going to be Smith or Barnes. We'll see. Dodgers. Come on. Still don't have it updated here, so I have to look back at my phone. Yeah, that's Lux, Turner, Smith, Beatty, Taylor, Pollock, McKinstry. So no Bellinger.
No Bellinger.
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Christian is coming in with an interesting question: Brad Keller or Adam Wainwright in a single entry GPP. So it's kind of interesting when you come up with that because they're two totally different ideas, right? You have one who's like 80 something hundred and the other is like under 7K, so they kind of fit different things. But I mean, I'm not going to say anything earth shattering, but Wainwright's a little probably has a little better floor because of his innings and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Keller doesn't really strike anybody out. Not that Wainwright is Nolan Ryan either, but I don't know. I think they're both okay. I think Wainwright's going to be higher owned, if that matters. I would give support to either. I mean, I'm not going to probably play Keller,
Right.
but I mean, it depends on my lineup. So you're doing a single entry. I don't know if I would do Keller in a single entry. I honestly would much rather play what's his name, and this is going to make everybody sick, but I'd much rather play Marco than Keller. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'd much rather play Marco than several of these guys.
Yeah, I have them as close, to be honest. It's not pretty. I don't feel great about talking up any of these guys, to be honest with you. But
right.
We've seen Marco Gonzalez is a decent pitcher. He struggled this year, but overall, I still believe in his he's talented and he's 6K, so that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Tommy Edman. Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
So what I'm going to do, by the way, Big Ticket and Bobby, I want to check out this site that he keeps referring to, this Swish Analytics site. I've never seen it before, and it's just something new for me to kind of look into. So this umpire stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll just take a look at it. I've never heard of it before. What I used to do, it used to be all secret. I used to have what's his name? I used to just like Siege would always have like the sneaky umpire data or something like that, and he would make everybody say, "Don't tell anybody because no one's supposed to have this." My secret informant like gives me the umpire data or something like that. I don't know what that's all about, but apparently it's a little more available now. But as far as the analytics part of it goes, it's interesting that Big Ticket is saying that
is interesting.
Whatever is a home plate ump who looks like a bunch of pitchers, and while wherever you're getting from says so. So I want to compare these things. I want to see what goes on with this stuff.
Yeah. One thing to keep in mind that I mentioned, I totally agree with all that. I need to get Bellinger out of. I have a ton of lineups. It is hard to get the exact guys you want in at the right prices, but I do think the one thing I would just caution people with the Dodgers is that there are bats on the bench like Taylor, and so don't feel like these guys are not. They legitimately might get 2 or 3 at bats. The other thing is if they get out to a big lead early, they're going to be the guys who stay in the game.
Right.
Like the Dodgers have tended to do lately, these monster first innings that they have. But I really I do like the BD, Lux, McKinstry to save a little bit, and then you can spend up on the other positions.
Dude, we gotta win tonight. Doesn't have to be that much even because I think I'm gonna be playing some dollars in the U.S. Open this week.
Oh, I'm into it, man. My first lineup I built felt so good.
Well, that's the beauty of the majors, man. They make everybody playable.
I know, exactly. But I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to say right now, I'll give a little thing. I'm definitely betting on Tommy Fleetwood.
Let's go.
Right this time. I really, really like him, and I am gonna take this shot. I've been waiting. I said I had a dream a long time ago when I first played my PGA golf thing. Before I actually I don't even know if I was playing it yet. And I had this weird dream of winning $1 million with Tommy Fleetwood winning the tournament, and I'm hoping that it comes to fruition tonight. But yeah, I mean, let's wait for the other update, and we can talk a little basketball now if you want to, while we're waiting to get some better weather updates.
Yeah, that's good. And just so you guys know, again, I'm just because I'm actually just getting some practice, like uploading stuff and doing my stuff. I'm posting all kinds of crazy shit up on the site. Like I actually put the showdown sheets up for both games tonight. If you guys feel like playing those,
awesome.
So I'm going to do another update. I'm just kind of fiddling around with everything. Big ticket, and then we'll do NBA. Yes, I scored over 300 FanDuel. Didn't even crack 25 user sheets. And they were money. Okay, all right. Remember my sheet? Somebody saying I scored over 300 in FanDuel. Didn't crop 25 by user sheets, and they were money. Now again, I appreciate that, but my sheets are not anything. You know what I mean? They're just data. It's really just how you go about it and utilize them. You know, and I appreciate you're using them and. You know, two people could look at the same data and utilize them totally differently. So give yourself the credit for it. You know what I mean? Like it's just, yeah, and it's really important, which I kind of stress when I go over how to use them. It's just data, and your ability to build stuff off of them is what's gonna separate you. Not just I use Sheets' numbers so I'm gonna win. It just doesn't work that way. Right. But I appreciate that you're looking at it. All right. So speaking of that, what do we like in the NBA tonight? What are your opinions on the games?
I've said that I'm going to stand by my Philly take, which is that I just bet on Philly every game. And look, they're not necessarily going to win all of the games against Atlanta, but I seriously think there's a good chance the series is over right now. So that's where I'm at with that one. With the other game, I'm struggling a little bit. Sort of going back.
By the way, let's talk about it for a second. What do you think of the ejection?
Horrible.
Okay.
Absolutely bordering on unforgivable. I tweeted out earlier that I might protest. I'm not really going to because I like the NBA too much, but I don't want to I just think it's so wrong. I really think it's just I don't care if people say, you called the regular season? First of all, I wouldn't have called that an ejection in the regular season. And I think to do it in an elimination playoff game for the league MVP is just kind of it's horrible. It's a terrible look for the sport in general. I hated it.
Whose actual call was that?
I don't know which official made the call.
Is it on the court? Is it on the court ref, or is it someone from from New York or whatever?
Oh no, I guess it has to be reviewed. It was reviewed, so they would have to have looked at it.
Well, so the referee's on the court after they do. I don't even know how it works. So the referee's on the court after they do the review. They make the decision of what it is. It's not like they get a call from Secaucus like football and says.
No. They do. Okay. It depends on the situation, but I believe the refs have the decision.
Okay.
To them, I honestly don't. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a rough call, and in a closeout game especially. You know,
you're not kidding.
I mean, it certainly looked bad, but it's you just I don't know, man. It's a rough call to make.
Absolutely, totally agree. Yeah, I don't know what to say about it because it's just I cannot get behind it.
Yeah, I think that I like Philly in this game. I'm getting so this is what I'm playing in the NBA. So in the NBA, I'm playing 20 lineups in both the. I've been doing all right doing this. I haven't played anything big since the playoffs started. I'm just playing 20 lineups, with MME takes or whatever it is, and just seeing what happens. That's the way I've been doing it. So just so you know, who I'm really heavy on. Now again, this is important because who I'm heavy on is not necessarily who I think are the best plays, right? So how do you want to do this? I'll just say who I'm heavy on. How about that?
Yeah.
So in DraftKings, my highest owned players, and I'm pretty contrary. My highest owned player is Nicholas Batum. And then it's very similar. I also have a bunch of Marcus Morris, and then Bogdan. You know where I'm really under on? Oh shit! This is good. This is the end of the could be the end of the line. Only 15% Joel Embiid. So let's see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But 2-game slate.
So are you pivoting? Are you pivoting over and playing a little bit of?
I have 55% Capella.
Interesting. How about are you playing Ben Simmons or Tobias Harris? Is there like
not much? I got 20% of that. You know what I got? I got a whole bunch of Korkmaz.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about the Korkmaz thing. He was closing the last game. Between he and Milton, it's kind of tricky. I actually found myself putting them in together in some lineups, which doesn't feel right. But he certainly makes sense if you just look at it like I don't know. It's tough for me though. I'm not like loving that.
But if you don't play Embiid, you get all kinds of stuff. Like you could play Mitchell and Trey and Gobert and Ingles and Bogdan. I mean, you could play like all these mid-range, all these middle of the road guys without having to punt if you don't play Embiid.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yep.
What do you think of Utah? I mean, we're so just kind of locked in with what to do. You know what I mean? Not even what to do. I mean, but we knew that. I mean, Conley's not playing. I mean, he's just not playing
right now. Right. I don't think he is either, but I can't say that I would be shocked if he does. I do like the Clippers to win this game, but I think I think that Mitchell is banged up, and I think the Clippers figured out a little something. I don't know why it took them so long exactly.
Oh, that was a good move though.
What's that?
To the late trap on him in the last game. That was very yeah.
Yeah, it's anyway, it's but I guess I would pick the Clippers in this game. I do think it's very close. I wouldn't put money on it because I think I could easily see it going either way. And the Clippers are sort of notorious for you don't know what you're going to get.
DFS wise, do you have any particular nuggets or anything like that? So to speak.
I'm getting over there. I'm just trying to get my last Bellinger lineup edited real quick, so I can just buy one more minute here.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to do baseball in like 10, 15 minutes. Probably.
Yeah, it's in my big one. I just don't want to forget because sometimes that happens, and it's literally the dumbest feeling in the world. Let's see. Can I get Seager in there? Oh, God, I cannot get my lineup built the way I want it at all. This is driving me nuts. I may end up going with Lance Lynn as my SP2. Jeez, after all that. Wow. By the way, people should be playing the Phillies a little bit tonight. Dodgers have a good bullpen, but I don't mind picking on. I think it's going to be Victor. What's his name? Lopez starting. And I didn't throw that out for baseball. I just wanted to mention it because I hadn't talked about that. Boy, this is weird. So I've got in my main build, I've got a 3-man San Diego and a 3-man Dodgers on DraftKings, like a 3-3, and then 2 Detroit. I'm using Caratini as my shortstop. I just wanted to give that away. But getting back to basketball, I have Bogdanovich in all my lineups. I have Paul George in all my lineups on DraftKings. I have Shake Milton a good amount. I have a little bit of Terrence Mann and a good amount of Thibault and Korkmaz.
I still don't know what to do with my SP2 or my SP1 on DraftKings. I don't know what to do.
It's glass now for me. I don't even think it's close, but Lance Lynn is fine also. I just don't think that there's I'm not when it feels that confusing, I think I'm gonna end up eating the chalk personally.
Who's a real cheapo that's emerged here? Is there any 2K second baseman? Probably not, right?
No. On FanDuel there is, but not on DraftKings.
On DraftKings, no, not really.
Not really. I don't see it. Boy, Tatis's price. Whew. On FanDuel.
Yeah, Tatis's price. Well, I could do this. Look at all those guys. I still don't know what to. Well, you know what? We're gonna wait out this Pittsburgh thing. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Wait this out to what is it, 7:05? I'm gonna wait it out to at least another 15 minutes. Get one more update.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much. We should have it pretty like momentarily, I would imagine. Not Boyd. Sorry.
Peterson.
Yeah, I'm sort of shifting. I do have my lineups built in NBA, and I just sort of said with the guys who I am playing Embiid everywhere. But I want to like build that out after. I'm gonna probably have to build that out after the show. Finish editing my lineups over there because I'm still worried about this baseball stuff, and I want to get the accurate weather before I do anything.
Let me change this to this. We'll keep.
By the way, Thibault got in. Just to keep in mind for basketball, Thibault got in foul trouble. Not to say that wouldn't happen again regarding Trey and all that stuff, but he got into foul trouble quickly last game, and I think it sort of phased things out. And Korkmaz played well. And just keep in mind these things are fluid. Like, you know what I mean? You shouldn't feel guaranteed about the minutes for any of those Philly secondary pieces. It's really, really up in the air, as far as I can tell. All right. And in the last position, I'm going to play Creamer. No, not Creamer. I mean Gonzalez.
I gotta take my 8 out.
Yeah, I just can't do it either.
And I can't play him. Hey, you like oh no, he's not no. It's more weather issues. Maybe you're right. Maybe you should play some of this Matt Boyd.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not doing a much.
All those writings, man, for KC, it's scary as shit.
It is scary, and I don't love it. Like, and they've hit him pretty good in the past. So I think Marco Gonzalez, Adam Wainwright, like the other guys, I'm mostly finding myself using. But we should have an update for you in just a minute, guys. If you see anything out there
the Indians game is delayed.
The Indians game is delayed.
Yes.
Okay. That's good to know. Why didn't that? Oh, it just came through. No, it didn't come through for me. That's really weird. Let's see. I'm guessing that's probably actually a good sign, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So I want to double check before I make that comment. I will see if there's any questions real quick in chat because I do want to get over to the thing, but we'll give it a few more minutes. Doesn't look like there's anything in there. So, okay. So let's see what we got for the new update. There we go.
Maybe a little Bundy never killed anybody. I mean, it did, but maybe it won't kill me that much.
It looks like Washington is getting. It's a little worse. Oh no, is that older? Was that old? Let me see when this is from.
Yeah, I think that's old.
No, it's 13 minutes ago. A mid-later inning delay is certainly possible. No promises. Not high risk, but there's some. That's basically what he's got. Nothing changed with the Mets. The models. Let's see. It looks a little bit better in New York.
Everybody was watching Eric turn his head and look out the window.
That's it. You shifted the entire.
I shifted the sentiment. That was it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm using some really, really gross bats today. Harold Castro.
Yeah, well, you get the Castro.
You can play double Castro if you want.
Hey, that's gonna go. Oh, well, now everybody's playing Bogdan. I mean, Bojan Bogdan.
Bojan Bogdan, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what I'm gonna do. I am actually going to build my lineups as if the Pittsburgh game is playing. That's what
yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
I'm playing them as if they're both playing.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, since I have the new numbers, I'm going to rerun my lottery ticket tournaments, buy-ins. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to redo this. That's NBA.
Okay. Yeah, my NBA ones I'm going to hold off on a little bit. Boy, this is not the prettiest lineup I've ever seen. I love Ryan McMahon, by the way. He's the best bat for me for Colorado. Didn't mention that one earlier.
Yeah, I was doing I had a lineup with Cabrera and Hayes, and I'm like, I really don't want to spend the extra $200 for McMahon.
Don't do it then.
I know, but I did it. but I did it.
Okay.
Kings.
Well, keep us posted, guys, if you hear anything else about the weather. It looks like I think all the games are going to play. I just I'm definitely not going to be using the pitchers in the games where I'm worried. And I'm a little bit nervous about the one-offs for Pittsburgh, so I sort of have shifted those towards the Dodgers anyway.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at these totals. Like, it's funny because there's this Coors on the slate, but it's for as much ownership as they're going to get. You have the Dodgers with a 5.5 run total. You've got 5.5 run total basically for KC projected. You know, you've got a 5 run total for the Cardinals. Great hitting weather, which is weird because the wind's blowing in from left, but I'm not too worried about it. And Goldschmidt is like one of the premier one-offs of the slate to me.
Goldschmidt?
Yeah. I really like him. That might actually be what I end up doing here in my main lineup on FanDuel. On DraftKings. Goldschmidt, Edman, Carlson. Yeah, I like that quite a bit, actually.
So we're not just...
What's that?
I'll tell you. I mean, I was about to say we're not just being dumb fading San Diego, right?
I'm not fading San Diego.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have at least one player from their lineup in every one of my lineups.
Right.
Except for maybe one. One I have like a Dodger St. Louis stack.
Yeah. Manaya, really?
I mean, and my main stack on FanDuel is the same, but it's interesting because I'm playing 200-person tournaments. I actually don't think you can do things a little bit different. You don't necessarily need a 4-man stack on FanDuel today, but I do end up having a good amount of 3 and 4-man from the Padres just because they're good.
Do you like no, you're not gonna like it.
What is it?
Brubaker?
No.
Okay. What about the guy from Miami? Is he any good? Is he gonna pitch any innings?
Oh no! I just talked endlessly how much I love St. Louis. Like I'm very on St. Louis's side of this one.
Okay. But
Sorry, go ahead.
But you don't know anything about whether he's like going to pitch innings or anything like that, or
I don't. It doesn't matter to me if there's a.
It wouldn't matter. Like if you were like attacking their bullpen, you know what I mean? I didn't know.
Attacking their bullpen. I always am attacking their bullpen because none of their pitchers are good enough to last long enough in games, except for Alcantara. But no, I wouldn't expect Braxton Garrett to be around too long. I mean, maybe if things go well for him, he'd be 5 innings. But I don't think. I mean, his 2 starts have been pretty rough so far. And the bullpen behind him is terrible, and you've got a team that just loves feasting on lefties. So I really like them. 3-man. Yeah, so on FanDuel, just to give away my big lineup, I've got a 3-man Padres with a 3-man Dodgers and a one-off of McMahon and Brandon Belt.
This is what we're...
You can figure out those guys and make that same lineup if you want to.
But that's by definition bad EV if you do that.
Well, it's hard to do though. It's hard. Yeah, well, it's hard to figure out how to do it. I mean, you find a way though, but not the easiest thing. I do think like if we had all clean weather in New York, I would consider David Peterson as a potential guy on FanDuel even 6K. I don't love it though. Boy, how do you not play Will Myers today? That would take some balls, huh?
That's a rough fade for sure.
Yeah, 2,600. Yikes, on FanDuel. Oddly, I have him in both of my main lineups right now, which I might change. Yeah. I'm going with the 3-3-2 and the 3-3-1-1 route today, mostly on both sides actually, just because I am paying up for pitching and I actually do have Glasnow and Lynn now in my main lineup on DraftKings after all that. I just can't resist it for the extra 1,100 for Wainwright versus Lynn. It's just I can't get my head around it.
What do you mean?
I just can't get my head around why I wouldn't just play Lance Lynn. It's $1,100 price difference. It's not that big of a difference. That's like barely an upgrade of some of your bats. You know what I mean?
Right.
I like stacking St. Louis. I always have good luck with St. Louis when I do end up playing them. let's see, Tatis with Wainwright on FanDuel or Glasnow with a punt at shortstop. I think it's a huge decision you're making. Like, that's the excuse for fading Tatis, right? Like, he's that big of a difference between Wainwright and basically playing Glasnow. And I would just rather play Glasnow personally, but I am playing Glasnow and Tatis in my main lineup, so you definitely can do it. I don't know what the rest of your build looks like, but Tatis is if you played this slate 1,000 times, he probably is going to be the highest scoring player more than anybody else. But again, it's baseball. You can always fade anybody.
Yes, you can.
I would just prefer. I always side with the pitchers in terms of who to play. So
we got to tweak my FanDuel lineups now, and then
you get some great KC prices. I mean, they're going to be pretty popular, I think.
They have to be, right? I mean,
yeah. Except for but Perez is not going to be.
Why not?
Yeah,
guy hits a home run every night.
He cost $7 million. So does Vladimir Guerrero, and nobody's playing him either.
That's true.
Vladimir Guerrero is literally hits a home run every night.
He sure does.
He is a monster. It's pretty incredible where baseball's at with these guys. I have to say, what a great.
Yeah, I'll tell you, there was one guy. It's so funny. There's always a I would say an outlier, but I mean, you were commenting a few weeks ago that these prospects, they just always seem to know. I mean, they all hit, but there was the one guy who just had that one game, and then he just hadn't hit anything. They sent him back. That Seattle guy, they sent him back to the minors. You see that?
Oh yeah, he'll be back. He'll be okay though.
No, I know, but yeah.
Once they make it up for good is more my point. But I still think it's good to try and be ahead of the curve on these guys. The same thing with the golfers.
Oh yeah.
It's just the current state of where these people are trained. So it's so different than old guys who were, back in the day, 25 years ago when people were coming up at 21 years old. It was not the same thing as now. They're so prepared.
Right.
And they all of the guys who were projected to that same class, with Acuna and Tatis and Guerrero and who's going to be the best of them. And not only are they not letting you down, and Soto. They're legitimately 4 of the best 6 players in baseball. And it's only been 2 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were almost right off the bat too. I mean, Acuna and Soto were last year, and Tatis, and actually even Vlad. I mean, it's pretty incredible. We talked some NBA a little bit already, Michael. I'm not sure if you caught some of that, but we can talk a little bit more about it because I feel pretty certain of what I'm doing now in baseball. So drop in any questions or thoughts about the NBA. It's a slate I'm having a hard time getting too different on. So I'm just going to speculate with the lower owned of the cheap guys and try to get my value there. And those guys for me are, the Philly guys, basically. And I love Batum also. I mean, I have 100% Batum as well on DraftKings.
Oh, you do? Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had 90 of them. You didn't say anything, so I figured that you.
It was my bad. I was just
you didn't like it or whatever. Oh, okay.
No, they're going to play. I feel pretty confident. This is the first game I feel we're pretty confident with what the Clippers are going to do.
Okay.
It worked in the last game. I still think Zubac is kind of an interesting tournament play, but I don't think they're going to it would take Marcus Morris getting into foul trouble as well as potentially somebody else possibly. Right. But I think that Zubac would if Marcus Morris got 2 fouls early or something. You will probably see Zubac in off the bench, and he's going to get an opportunity to play somewhere between 12 and 22 minutes, I would say, which is not all that exciting, but he's a fairly decent, productive player, and we're looking for ways to get different with value. So, you got Korkmaz, who's projected to be around 40%. You've got Shake Milton, who's probably only going to be about 20%. And I think that's that's a good play on its own. And then you've got the Terrence Mann, who no one's going to play. And I think that's a really good speculative move. I know he got some of the garbage run last time too, but they did play him earlier because I could see Beverly's minutes shifting over to him. I also could see Beverly as a tournament play. I think he's going to be the more popular one, but I think you could just easily make that pivot. And that's sort of what I'm doing is bouncing around between these guys. Thibault, people cannot play him. I'm going to bank on that. Whatever minutes projection you're looking at for him is probably a little bit low. I think that there's a chance that he plays I think he has upside of 30 minutes. I think it's more likely to end up somewhere around 24.
What's he going to do with that though? I mean,
all he has to do is get 15 fantasy points.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, yeah, maybe he won't, but yeah. I'm willing to take that chance. And, it's even over on like FanDuel, you have I love him over there because that is the play that people don't make. And that's, I mean, look, he only put up 11, what did he put up in the last game fantasy wise? It was really pretty pedestrian, 14 fantasy points. But he was on the winning lineup, and he was on my lineup, which came in 6th, which was 2nd. But then I got stat corrected to 6th. That was a little frustrating. But I really like Thibault today. I like going that route and playing things elsewhere. I also am playing Shake Milton on FanDuel, playing more Mitchell on DraftKings, Clarkson more on FanDuel, Ingles on FanDuel, even at 56, I'm fine with. And Embiid is going to be in my lineups tonight. I do love the Capella play, by the way. I'm not playing like 2 lineups, and I'm just not going to. I want to win the position by a million, and that I think you can tonight. So, yeah. But I do think Capella we've seen Capella with those 8, 9, 10 block games. You know what I mean? All of a sudden he's got 75 fantasy points, and he's going to be owned a little bit.
Yeah.
I just don't think you're getting creative at center on FanDuel by doing anything. I just don't think that's where you should try to get different. I think you want to try to get different with either leaving money on the table, with maybe throwing in Georges Niang is one guy who you could consider. Thibault's going to have more ownership tonight, but I do like him. I think Gallinari is going to be owned also. Another guy I like. Herder obviously has upside, but it is hard. I love playing Kawhi too today on FanDuel. So his price is going to keep people off of him a little bit, which is kind of bizarre. We saw how well he played in the last game, and he obviously has a ceiling. And again, he very well. I would say he's actually very likely to double up, maybe even triple, maybe even like not triple up, but maybe get 2.5 times what the next guy gets at small forward. So I'll play him with Thibault rather than middling it out with the Bogdanovich and Batum or Bogdanovich Gallinari. That's just the route I'm going. Any direct NBA questions, drop them in there. To get different, which way do you think would it be, fading glass now or fading the set of course? Okay, so Tracy, it's a good question. We've talked about that one for a while. I don't think you need to go with just basically that. You can play parts of the Padres and get different elsewhere. It's a spread out slate. There's a lot of other things that are going to be owned. I'll double check my Dodger ownership, the overall Dodger ownership. I am playing a ton of Dodgers, but oddly enough, it's kind of hard to stack them while playing some San Diego bats as well. So we're doing as much of that together unless I'm paying down for my pitchers, which is, again, I would rather play Glass now, and maybe I'll have 1 or 2 bad games a year. You know what I mean? This might be one of them, but I'm just gonna play the best player. And I'm just gonna take a quick look at the Dodger ownership, because if it's low, and by the way, Dodger ownership always lower than projected. Just the lineup comes out late. Yeah, nobody even projected to be 10%. And Lux is going to be the highest owned, probably just around 10%. And he's my favorite play at shortstop, not named Fernando Tatis, even if no money was considered. I love Gavin Lux tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Lux. It happens every now and then that these nothing pitchers can shut down the Dodgers. It's hot here. It's perfect hitting weather. If you make a mistake against this team, you're just going to get rocked. And I don't believe in that Phillies bullpen at all either. So Howard and the bullpen, I'll take it. I really, really like the Dodgers.
Lux is good.
He's really good, man. He can hit. Yeah, I had the lineup the other night with, I think my pitcher got me 4 points on FanDuel, whoever it was. It was Bieber, and something like that. And my lineup literally scored like 200 and something points just from my hitters, because I had Lux and I had the Dodgers, and they scored, the monster first inning day. All the home run guys who hit in the first inning, I had like all the 3 home runs. It was beautiful. Just unfortunately, I had no pitching.
Have you been following this narrative about like the spin rate and the junk on the hands or whatever it is?
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I think it's basically always been happening in baseball, and they've just probably let guys get away with a little bit more, and I think now they'll let them get away with less. That's my way of looking at it.
Makes sense. No, so I know they were talking about like Bauer, and specifically is like this is why he's struggling, is because he's not using the stuff anymore or something like that. Or
yeah. It's different guys. Everybody in the league is doing it, so I don't really know. People are going to try and pin it on certain pitchers and stuff. I don't think there's an advantage you can really gain. Maybe there's certain guys who, if more names come out, we could attack, that way. But I don't know that I don't know of anybody. I don't know who stands out as being like the obvious guy who used all of it. Maybe you could make an argument for fading the expensive pitchers more often because of it. Because with him cracking down, it's going to be a little different,
Yeah.
What's crazy is that, just real quick about basketball, that Milwaukee series is so bad. It's like the games, I bet on Milwaukee. I'm rooting for Milwaukee, and I obviously got lucky with Kyrie. I mean, unfortunately getting injured, but man, I don't know. I'm very much just amazed at how bad their offense is down the stretch of games. I can't believe this is even an NBA team, much less a team that could win the title.
What do you think of Nash giving up with 5 minutes to go?
I've come around to really. I just think Steve Nash is a genius, basketball genius. I don't really question him too much, to be honest. It's surprising, I would say that, but I don't. I just think he pushed the right buttons all year. He got dealt a great hand, and it's sort of crumbling as we speak. He's got aces on a queen jack 10-9 flop now. You know what I mean? Queen jack 10-9 board. That's
but in fairness, I mean, in the reality, all that happened is that the home team won the first 4 games. I mean, that's what's supposed to happen anyway. I mean, I don't know what the big deal is, and not only that, Milwaukee was favored the last 2 games. It's not so shocking that they won.
Well, yeah, but the Kyrie getting injured, I think that did throw a wrench in this series, which is why Milwaukee's is he
going to be out, you think, for the next game?
I mean, Milwaukee is now a decent sized favorite from a pretty big underdog in the series.
No, I'm asking. I mean, what's the word on Kyrie in general?
As of right now, it's up in the air, but I think that it's a good bet that he's going to miss.
Well, that's not good.
I don't write anything out, but you never know. Like James Harden might suit up. I don't know what the hell's going
to happen. That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's possible.
I mean, this team is playing to win a title, but it's funny though, because I also want to say one more thing about that, because everybody talks about how the Nets are gonna win. They're so much better than everybody else if everybody's healthy and all this stuff. But part of the reason they have these guys even is, I mean, not Harden was a fluky injury, never gets injured. Kevin Durant has played 30 games in the last 2.5 years. You know what I mean? Kyrie Irving has literally missed half of the season, most of his career. So this is not something they shouldn't have been ready for. But it's not. It's also, you can't be. You take those guys off the court, obviously, not going to be nearly as good. Anyway,
I'll tell you something else which is kind of cool. That it wasn't too long ago that you and I both were saying about, man, it sucks to be Phoenix to have to play the Lakers. It's unfair. I mean, everybody wanted to play Phoenix, apparently, and next thing you know, they're going to be in the finals one of these days. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
No, but I was into Phoenix. I was saying that I thought they were a team that could contend. I
mean, all year, people have been saying it's not real. It's not real. They were 100-1. I mean, I would say 100-1. They were a huge underdog entering the freaking playoffs as the two.
It makes no sense, Sheets. It really didn't. They play the kindest. That's the one thing is the teams who know who they are the teams that I would bet on in the playoffs. And obviously the Nets are an outlier because they're just freakishly talented when those guys all play. But the Bucks don't seem to exactly know who they are. They don't know what to do down the stretch of games. The Clippers don't know who they are. They're a different team every night. The Jazz know who they are. The Suns know who they are. So I would be looking at those teams, and then also Philly, even though they're flawed, they definitely know who they are. It's when Joel Embiid plays.
Yeah, they're a team that can't shoot, right? I mean,
but so what? I mean, it's not so what. But Joel Embiid is just. I mean, he's making a real I actually think that there's going to be an argument if he stays healthy that he'll be considered the best player in the league soon if he's not. If some people don't already.
Right.
Harden and Harry already were ruled out. Okay, I hadn't looked at today.
Oh, that's brutal.
I tell you what though, if they lose Game 5, they're not going to be ruled out. Somebody's playing Game 6.
I'll tell you something else about that game last night. By the way, I mean this should come as no surprise given everything I've said about the NBA. I mean Denver. I mean they play with a lot of freaking heart. You know what I mean? Those last 15 minutes after.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Their rule. They said nobody can make a shot. You know what I mean? It's kind of rough. But and that's what happens, man. I mean these are high intensity athletes, and they come together when their top guys are out. They just always do.
Yep, totally agree.
It does suck. but whatever.
Yep.
The MVP too. That's it's tough.
It's rough, man.
It's a tough call.
I'll tell you what. I'm a Laker fan, but if I was, if that was LeBron, there's no way that happens.
Nope.
0% chance.
Nope.
The league wouldn't allow it. The guy broke COVID protocol and still didn't suspended. Like everybody else who even was just did like the slightest thing. He went out. Like he did everything wrong. And they just were like, oh, no, we're not going to suspend him. I was like, okay, wow, that's pretty wild. Beverly, let's get Beverly into some lineups because I do think one of Beverly or Mann, I feel like is going to have a game here because they're going to play that small lineup and they're going to need those guys out there to guard. Utah, the way they move the ball around, you just can't play big against them. It doesn't work.
Yeah, just so you guys know what I'm doing right now. But I'm like so ahead of the curve right now. I'm actually updating the projections for the Utah showdown slate later. But I'm gonna have to do it all over again if Conley's playing, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming him out for this.
Oh, I love man, I need to figure out a way to get some of these lineups with it's hard to play Terrence Mann over Milton a little bit. I do think that there's going to be it's going to be a lot game flow related. But Milton does have a chance. I just think that there's a better chance for Mann to get in there than Milton.
There's a better chance for Mann to get in there than Milton?
For him to outplay minutes-wise Milton.
Okay.
It's not guaranteed at all, but Shake Milton is not the closing. Will never be on a closing or near closing. Patrick Beverly also, like the thing about Mann that I like too is that you think about this, like Patrick Beverly is, he could foul out in 10 minutes. He could get ejected in the first quarter. Like he plays, that's his style of play. It's like playing Draymond Green, except for he fouls a lot more than Draymond Green does.
By the way, I got a little extra time tonight, so I could hang out and answer some more questions if you guys want, or do whatever.
Cool. Yeah,
I'm just here doing my thing, so.
Yeah, I'm finishing up my NBA lineups right now. And
you guys have questions, whatever. I'm literally what I'm doing, just so you guys know, with transparency. I am uploading the updated stuff for the showdown. I'm gonna put it on the True DFS site. I'm changing my lineups there, and then I'll be back to you. But I'm just kind of doing my thing. Just want to see what I'm doing. Okay, so let's rebuild that.
Zero Trae Young tonight. Anybody else playing Trae Young tonight?
Yeah, sure.
I'm actually just fading him entirely.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean they've been so good against him since they switched their lineup up and they started playing Thibault and Simmons on him instead of old man Danny Green.
Danny Green was having a good game. Was it the last game? I forget. And then they got rid of him or whatever. I mean, they get rid of him. They just didn't put him back in.
Yeah. Oh, he's hurt.
Oh, okay.
No. Yeah.
7:30. Let's see, 10 o'clock. CSV edit. Download. And then I'll put it up on the site. Yeah, U.S. Open's going to be big, man. I'm pumped. I want to be in contention.
I feel yeah. I'm curious. I'm actually looking forward to doing the show this week because I'm actually so excited. I actually started doing research already. So.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that Rick liked two of your dudes. I'm like, all right, we're gonna get this.
Patrick Rogers going to go from 2% owned or one. Or
no, what it was he was talking about the Pohana Greens and how they're like really, really tough, especially when they grow out. And he ranked them in the top two guys. He said one of them was Patrick Rogers and the other was Patrick Reed. So that's good enough. Yeah, good enough for me.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah, it makes sense to me. I think John Rahm is going to win this tournament too.
So here's a summary. Here's a preview of my take. If you guys don't know me by now, right? So Rahm was 6 strokes freaking ahead, like clearly on his way to win. And I won't say he got ripped off, whatever it is, but he is going to be really mad and ready to kill. And he has like an incredible history over this course. So I will be Xing him out. Thank you.
Oh, you're out. I think you were going to
Oh,
go.
I don't know. I have no idea. Yet. I don't know.
Joke on me.
I'll be more than happy to. By the way, I mean he's going to be really popular.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's fine. I mean, that's fine. I don't mind playing some popular guys if I'm going to be playing all the cheap guys who no one's going to play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fine with me.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. You know, he also brought up Matt Wolf. Oh my!
So I was considering that one. That's an interesting one. I mean, we'll
He hasn't played in so long.
I know, but you know, I just like the guys I'm going to believe. No one's going to. I don't think people are going to play him. Right? Like I can't imagine.
Nobody's going to play him.
God, even my Will Gordon came through for me last week. It's crazy. I had a 5 of 6 lineup that was like 110th in the $5 thing. You know, that had it would have.
Yeah, I think I cashed in one that had a 4 of 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was pretty ugly, that cut line.
Ooh-wee. But you know, one thing I did say, I said that it's gonna, you know what I mean. That watch out for this tournament. It's gonna be guys that like just they're not gonna be the top guys. There'll be guys that have just been killing to win or whatever it is.
Yeah,
and that dude had a freaking chance, and he totally freaking choked. And the Higo inherited the win.
Yeah, that's right. Tracy asked about do I like Dodger pitchers tonight, or do we like Dodger pitchers? No, I'm not playing. Did we end up getting the actual update on that one? Because still got So I'm not going to play Gonsolin now. I don't think he's got any leash at all at this moment. He'll get back to having a leash at some point, but there's no way you can play him, in my opinion. St. Louis. Let's go St. Louis, top of the order. Hopefully that's
They're doing something already?
No. I'm just looking at my final build, and I really like St. Louis.
We'll get some ownerships in a sec, right?
Yeah. Just
what is it, 705 block?
Yeah, 705. And then you've got all the 710 games. Let's see. Yeah, it's just the Nationals game at 705, and then you've got, so we won't have that. You'll get your Pittsburgh guys.
My Pittsburgh guys, everybody's Pittsburgh guys, probably.
No, I don't think everybody's playing Pittsburgh.
You know what I mean?
You got a team with a 5.5 run total in Kansas City that you've got Jorge Soler at 3K, you've got Dozier at 3.2. You could even squeeze in Gutierrez at third base, 2.5. Olivares is 2.4. Like this, yeah. Andre Roberto is 2.5, 2.6. Michael Taylor. I mean, you could literally just play the back end of that lineup for no cost at all. Just skip to the top 3 hitters. It's a little nerve wracking, but Matt Boyd can give it up to anybody. We know that.
Yes, he can. Is he really gonna? All these times I played him against these teams that were terrible against freaking lefties, and he didn't really do much. Is he really gonna throw a gem against all these freaking righties? Probably, just to troll me. I know it.
Yeah. Good questions from Christian Rodriguez.
I'll get there.
Gonzalez or Keller for SP2. I have them like basically the exact same amount. So I actually have them together a couple times. So I don't feel great about either of them, but I think that both of them are fine. Good luck to everybody. I've got a lot of good luck messages. Good luck to everybody. Christian Rodriguez says he's playing 4-4 stack Padres and Pitt. I like that. I do think that Pitt's going to be lower owned than people initially, and the weather kind of may have scared people away earlier. So I think that that's a really good way to go. And again, very, very cheap. I'm stacking them on FanDuel actually too.
Let's change the.
Watch John Lester go out and throw a no-hitter or something.
What's that?
John Lester's going to go out and throw a no-hitter or something.
Oh, for sure.
It's going to happen now. All right, let's see what we can get here.
So look what I've done. I've done so much content today that I need to like that one of the page on TrueDFS I have to scroll to find it somewhere else. Let's see. Let's do edit post. Okay, update. New post.
What do you got on your? Let's see the Pittsburgh guys. What they are on FanDuel.
Yeah, let me just finish this. This is like fun for me actually. Let's see. Look.
Josh Bell 2%, Phillip Evans 2%.
Reed, Jesus Christ. All right.
FanDuel. And Phillip Evans at 2K. I guess it's pretty clear how I'm getting to my my hitters.
You can see who my highest owned guys on freaking DraftKings are. It's going to be really gross.
Tori, if you can figure out how to stack San Diego, Colorado while playing both of them, you could do it with Colorado's side of it too. It's possible. I also think it's going to be fair. That's sort of, you're going to have chalky plays in all of your lineups if that's what you're going to do. But go right ahead. That's basically the cash game attempt today. It is hard to play all those guys though.
I have 29% Phillip Evans. He's hitting 5th.
I know.
I say that like he's freaking like Lou Gehrig. Look at this.
Yeah. All right. I think that
after all my talk, you know who my highest owned players are?
Who's that?
It's Tyler Glasnow. It's Fernando Tatis.
Yeah.
It's Manny Machado. And Victor Caratini. And Jake Cronenworth and Tommy Pham. They're not all necessarily together. But how many people have a
What's that?
And I mean, how many people have a Wainwright-Lester combination? Can't be that many. Right?
Not very many. Yeah. I do think a few people will throw the Lester in.
Yeah.
But because there's it's a name that people recognize, and like it's basically it.
Got 8% of that. Now, let me look at my FanDuel. FanDuel is really, really ugly. The guys.
Yeah, so Korkmaz is starting.
Is that good?
I mean, it's predicted, but I mean, he's in my lineups. That's all I can say. He's not in my lineups on FanDuel though. Maybe I will actually.
FanDuel doesn't say your ownerships, right? Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't play so many lineups I can see them.
How many people in the fantasy qualifier, which I am going to win one of these days, by the way?
I have no doubt.
Even against these Peaches guys that have 4 entries, whatever.
Yeah.
How many people are actually using David Peterson as their FanDuel pitcher? We're going to find out. Probably a decent amount.
Yeah, I think a good amount.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. No. I think it won't be as much of as high as it was going to be because of the weather.
Well, this one is Peterson with the total game stack of San Diego, Colorado. So we'll see what happens. See if I could dig up any questions on here that I didn't get to, and then I'm going to probably go eat.
I think most people are probably gone.
Okay.
Evan's 10% on that must be on DraftKings. On FanDuel, he's not. He's 2% on FanDuel.
Who?
Evans, Phillip Evans. And guys, yeah, if you don't mind doing us a favor, giving us a like and all that stuff before you get out of here. I appreciate you guys all being here, and let's make some money tonight.
Yep. All right. Good luck, everybody, and we'll get at it later.
Yeah, sounds good. Good luck, everybody.
Bye. Let's see. While I'm here, sweat a little horse racing before I close this down. Who's this? You're really getting an insight into what Eric's doing. Hello. See, this is, you know what this is? This is called no information. This is scam phone calls on my cell. So we're live in this Prairie Meadows late pick 5. Let me just see. Let me see where I'm at here. Prairie Meadows. It's a jackpot pick 5. Pretty big carryover, but let's see. So we need the 3 and the 5 coming up here. You want to sweat one time? We need 2 underdogs. You guys want to root is Raggy. Now these guys have no chance, but Dick Clark is the trainer. I guess nobody's interested in this. All right, good luck, everybody. And once I find where you guys are in the browser, I want to find somebody score a point. Who scored a point? 0.15 for Leicester. And who got a single? Cabrera and Hayes got a single. And the sweat is real with Pittsburgh. There it is. Look at this. Let's pull this up right now. Look at this. First place in the qualifier with everybody else. But we do have Cabrian Hayes. All right, I don't even know where my once I find your browser. Where am I? Right here? Right here. You say in it into existence sheets about winning the qualifier. I'm trying, man. I want to just will it. I want to will it to happen. Winning the qualifier. Let's see. Watch this. Nobody gives a crap about this. All right. Good luck, guys.